Polish fugitives in Egypt, late 17th century. This involves a bills of divorce, and I guess we're talking about Poland, and we're talking about the Sephardic community. What comes out of this particular response?
So that's some crazy stuff. Anybody who's interested in the background of this, the background is what's called Gezeros Tachtatat, the Khmelnytsky uprising and massacres in the Ukraine and Poland in 1648-49, which were followed by a Swedish invasion of Poland and Russians and terrible times for the Jews in those regions, and lots of slaughter. Excellent book about this by Adam Teller, that really goes into the essentially the refugee crisis and other related refugee crises around that time. So we know that many people running away from these invasions and the Cossacks and so on, many of them went to Western Europe. We have, for example, works that were published, works that we have on the Shulchan Aruch and commentaries on the Gemara and so on that were published in Western Europe that we know were brought there by people who were escaping these disasters and came to Germany or France or the Netherlands. We certainly know about that. It turns out that some of these people went way further. And in this case, what happened is that a bunch of women escaping these invasions and so on, presumably got on a boat, ended up in Egypt. So here you are in an environment which must have been so foreign to them. They're Jews, and they go to the Jewish community, so they're Jews with other Jews, but these are Ashkenazi Jews whose entire culture, certainly Yiddish and Ashkenazi, being absorbed into a community of Sephardim in North Africa and Egypt. And they are Agunot also. Their husbands are back in Poland or the Ukraine, and they have no idea what happened to them. So they hire an agent to go back to Poland to find their husbands and to achieve a get, to get a divorce from the husbands, each of them her respective husband. And this is extremely tricky. Poland is in chaos, the wars, the death, the everything else. Plus, Ashkenazi Jews, right? Ashkenazi Jews, they have last names like, Goldstein or Lieberman, or whatever it might be, right? These Ashkenazi last names. Nobody had last names then. It was Chaim Ben Yankov, or whatever it was, right? So this shaliach, this agent, is going around Poland trying to find the husbands of these women, and it's almost impossible. First of all, the chaos. Second of all, he doesn't know quite where to go. Right? Nobody's back in their hometowns anymore. Everybody's spread out all over the place, and he can't identify who's who. He needs to get a divorce from Yassel Ben Yankel. He finds 200 Yassel Ben Yankels, right? Which one is it? He doesn't know. Right, so it's a very, very messy Aguna situation that ends up, and your heart goes out to these women and to their husbands and to everybody who went through this horror. But it's also very revealing, very interesting. Here, these Ashkenazi women who end up in Egypt and how they're going to negotiate their terrible situation.
This is a very small group. No, there wasn't a Polish community in Egypt, a separate Polish community. We're talking about a small group of women.
Yes, I would assume it's a small group, a handful.
Okay.